Hello, viewers of Sounding Board, and today we're going to talk about, well, it's kind of maybe 5 minutes too late, the video done by the Republican senator about using the attack on Titan. I'm not too sure who the Republican senator is off the top of my head. I'd have to go look it up. But the problem is, do I really care enough? The answer is no. And this is the way Nancy Pelosi and the rest of the Democrats should look at it. Should they really care? No. It was humorous, and maybe they should look at it a little bit as. And because there is I saw the video, and it deals with the border crisis. It deals with a lot of problems we've been seeing right now. But also at the same time, too, the Titans are prominent Democratic figureheads. And the most prominent one is AOC, because she puts her face out everywhere. Next to Joe Biden himself, you probably see her shooting her mouth off more than anybody else. And usually, she really doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. She's more of a Barbie doll type of senator. You know, she's good for talking points and joining sides, because like high school, there's always those kids that in student council that were the prominent ones. They were the ones that were jocks, cheerleaders, the brain trust, not the nerds, but the brain trust, the cool brain trust. And then there's the people that orbit them. AOC is the people that orbits them, but she is very good at marketing herself. So then people don't realize she's not doing her job correctly, or even doing her job. And that's the entire point of her being on the face of the Titan that is being killed. And the other one we see predominantly is Joe Biden. And we sit there and they judge it really hard. We don't. I don't. I thought it was kind of humorous. I still understand classical symbolism, not your buffet symbolism, your buffet analogies, your buffet uses and choices of words. And the reason I use the word buffet is that's how they're using language right now, because they don't want you to have a firm grasp of what is literature, what is a word. And as long as we don't have solid words like him and her, and like they say, proper pronouns, it's going to be really hard in the future to prosecute anyone, to label people. It's going to be really hard to write stories, just writing a good story. Not when you have them stop, and it's only one character. Stories are gonna start maybe being wrote like The Rock. Jim Kirk goes to a planet. Jim Kirk stops to take a look around. Jim Kirk sees the enemy below on the cliff, and they don't seem to understand that. So he tried, I think, with this thing to use symbolism, visual symbolism. Because the Republicans are defending themselves and always falling back, and the Democrats are always pushing forward with to lie, cheat, and steal using Eddie Guerrero's thing catchphrase. But there are a few that still want to fight a good fight and defend the bastions of truth, justice, and the American way. And I think that's really what he was trying to say, because there's a lot of enemies at the gate right now, and the worst part is they're within the walls of the city. And that's really what I think he was trying to say. And so it could be worse. He could have put something together with Alice in Wonderland with Nancy Pelosi as the Red Queen. Yeah, because he's always yelling at anyone that's a Trumper. Off with their heads! Off with their heads! And that is even more. And you could talk also too about how and it's basically dealing with standards of practice of Congress and the Senate. But dealing with standard of practice isn't any different than you have Omar Ohan, who is openly racist, Cori Bush, openly racist, Marjorie, Waters, the Congress lady, is, these guys are all openly racist, but they're not held accountable for their attitudes. Or Kamala Harris and the Biden administration paying for rioters to get out of jail, but yet they take away all the civil liberties of the January 6 people, and they didn't burn anything but broke a couple windows. So where is the justice? That is the big question here. And I think that's what maybe he was asking too, because these titans are in control of what we see, what we hear, and what we do, what we should be saying and speaking, but never being responsible, being monsters, but not being fair and just. And I think that's really what he was trying to get at. He did it heavy-handedly, and maybe to some extent people just don't understand. People don't imagine anymore, I think, is what ended up happening. And so people either said, oh, that is tasteless, or that I see what he was doing, but he should not have done it. But at the end of the day, it's you who has to decide what you see in his little clip. So until next time, this is the Sounding Board, signing off.